Hi everyone, it's Pete here from the Pain Toolkit, and welcome to the 1 minute interview. And today I've got with me, I'm pleased to say, I've actually got a South East London bloke doing the one with me called Ben Comack. Good afternoon to you, Ben.
How you doing, Pete?
I'm good, mate. It's a little bit taters over here, as they say, to where we were, but that'll put me a little bit of a third piece of item on to keep me bits of.
You want to turn the heating up, mate?
What heating's that? I'll tell you what, we were so young, so poor when we were young, mate. All six of us used to huddle around one candle, and when it got really cold, we used to light it.
That's a working class joke, isn't it, Pete?
It is, mate. Yeah. And also, I've got a fitness runner as well. And coming from a family of I had three sisters, I couldn't have any of their hand-me-downs. So my dad used to get all me my clothing from the Army surplus store. And I'll tell you now, mate, going to school in Woolwich dressed up like a Japanese admiral ain't no fun. Listen, mate, I'm really pleased that you said you come on and do this with me. I appreciate that. And I guess for a little bit of intro for you, really. I mean, we saw each other last year in Brussels. At the mid-year railway station with the Eurostar business, but we're sort of tracking each other, I guess, on social media. And for me, I think, Ben, you're one of these healthcare professionals who sort of turn the corner a little bit, and you're seeing things from a different angle. For me, it's great stuff, like all the stuff that you're doing. Pain for us lot isn't, when you've had it for a long period of time, pain actually ceases to become the problem. It becomes pretty secondary, really, or third, or whatever. And all the other stuff that we have to put up with, we seem to focus on that. But you've recognised that. I'll tell you what. Let me hand over to you, and you tell the viewers how you see things in a different way.
Well, I think for me, when I've worked with people, I've worked with people who've had pain for the best part of 20 years. And for me, it was always about, I've always enjoyed interacting with people and being active myself. And, I like to think that I kind of enjoy living, etc. And for me, helping people was always about those aspects. It was, in fact, I'm probably not that good at the medical stuff. And the anatomy and all those kind of things. So for me, it was always about connecting with people and helping people. I've never been the kind of type who was, it's all about the medical jargon and the technicality. Maybe that's just not me as a person. But certainly, how I viewed working with people over the years has definitely changed. And I think the research is one area that I think maybe sometimes people are ahead of the research, that actually dealing with people and just having a good relationship and being focused on them and what they want to do and where they want to go. You can kind of be ahead of that curve if you're just a decent human being, I think. So, so I don't know. I don't know when it occurred for me, why it happened, but I tell you where I do want to go really next. For me, the most important point isn't always about patients or therapists or people or whatever. I think the most important thing moving forward is how we have a very shared narrative. I think that's going to be the next key. It's not you and us and them and us and all these different things, but actually this interaction. And I think that's going to be the most important.
Yeah, teamwork.
Teamwork. There you go.
Simple as that, I'm not sure where we're doing that with the Arsenal at the moment. It seems to be sometimes watching the Arsenal, it looks like there's 11 players all doing their own little thing, but
they're getting better, Pete. They're getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite pleased with them actually from where we were last season. But so listen, let's crack on. So you've got a minute or so, Ben, to just what's the so that for people who are watching this who are living with persistent pain, and perhaps some of your colleagues who from the pain world, what's the most important thing about pain self-management? Off you go.
Well, I think like anything, you have all of these, you have a whole week, a whole life, a whole whatever to live. And the only person you can guarantee to be there all the time with you is pretty much you, unfortunately. You know, we come into the world alone, we leave the world alone. That's the way it is. And we meet loads of people along the way, and that's fantastic. But one of the things that I've learned, and from interacting with patients and stories and talking to people like you and other people who have kind of dealt and are dealing with pain, the ones that have done the best are the ones that have taken the bull by the horns, worked out what works for them. It's trial and error. They mess it up, they stuff it up, they feel worse, they feel better. And through that time and trial and error, they find out the best management strategies for them. No one can tell someone what is going to be the best management strategy for them. But when they find it, I think people have a lot more success than when they're searching for someone else to help them. And I think if we were to survey lots and lots of people who live well with persisting pain, you would find 9 out of 10 people have found ways that they manage it themselves and they don't have to look outside for help.
Yeah. I think I totally agree with you there, Ben, because I think, you know, I see lots of information flying around on social media and papers and whatnot. Not that stuff, a lot of it I don't understand anyway. But I always,
Me neither.
No, I'm in good company. But what I always describe pain as being like a fingerprint. You know, like as with fingerprints, they're all different. And I think how I manage my pain, so how perhaps the next person manage their pain, it may be similar, but it'll be different.
Yes, they may look very close, but they're going to be slightly different. Absolutely.
Yeah. So and the thing is, there's not one size fits all. It's finding out, also aims to people, find out what works for you, and then start off with that, and then build up gradually. It's not. I mean, I didn't wake up one day and sort of had a sort of a light bulb moment, and I know how to manage it. You know, I had to. You know, I was lucky enough to go on this pain management program in '96, and what that program did was gave me the basic skills to get cracking. But you've got to work on that. So I had the foundations. It's about building up from that. But it didn't happen overnight. And I've been a slow learner. You know, it took me a year or two to get cracking with it. So, what would be your take-home message for healthcare professionals who are perhaps still following the medical model of care, etc.? What would be your take-home message to them?
Well, I mean, look, the more you understand about pain, the more you understand it's probably far less about some kind of pathology or this or that and the other. Persistent pain and all pain is simply about people, because how could it be about anything else, right? And you could have exactly the same pain, exactly the same pathology, exactly the same medical issue, but everyone deals with it in a different way. And I think that's the key. I think if you see pain as anything other than being unique to the person and about treating them as an individual, then you're probably in the wrong profession. Go and work as a mechanic.
Or for those people doing doing the surgery and whatnot, you know, the ones that do the injections, you know, perhaps dart players or.
Yeah, but look, you can still be a surgeon and you can be an injector and you can be in the medical system, but you can still understand that medicine is about people. Yeah. So, you know, that's the issue. The biomedical model doesn't mean that you can't understand that people are people. It just seems to limit that to some degree because of the reductionist nature of it. You know, there have been some really fantastic doctors, people like Osler, some fantastic, you know, back surgeons like Gordon Waddell, you know, who recognise that within the medical model, there needs to be room for people.
I think I was lucky enough to meet Gordon a few years ago, and I was at one of his lectures down at St Thomas's Hospital, and I always remember it. The take-home message for me on that one, when was that his message to the all the healthcare professionals in the room, were that to wait for someone to return to for someone to return to work was essential, but it's to expect them to be pain-free before they return to work is pointless. He said returning to work, even with pain, is part of the rehab process.
Yeah, absolutely. So we need to, and we see this consistently within the data, that people who function better with pain tend to recover better, you know, because they don't have negative beliefs about pain. They accept that there's going to be some pain. They're not scared of pain. And pain is something that, you know, I think the real message is just because you have pain, it doesn't mean your body's falling apart. It doesn't mean you're damaged. We can't tell you exactly why you have pain, but we can tell you pain is not just about the state of your body. You know, fortunately, I think that is. So that key message, I think, should enable people to get out there and do the things that they love, to enjoy life, to get back to work and stuff like that. And, you know, pain is such a funny subject and we're too pain focused.
Yeah. Listen, Ben, I'd like to, I think we'll call it a halt there. But what I'd really like to do is to, if we can organise another one of these to perhaps go talk about it a little bit more in depth, etc.
Do you want 2 minutes next time, Pete?
Well, you know, come on, let's do a bit of schmoozing here. Yeah. I think, you know, because I think you and there's some other guys out there that have got really strong messages, and I think these sort of messages, I think a lot of people we're paying, they don't get to hear these messages, like, you know, and I want to sort of use these little short interviews, I guess, to get the word out of it more, because the feedback I've had from the other two interviews I've done already with Marion and Michelle, what I did at the weekend, I mean, it's been really positive because they're short, sharp, to the point, etc. So perhaps we can do another one of these, all right, Ben?
Perfect. I'm with you, buddy. Don't worry.
Good stuff. Listen, I'm going to stop the record button now, but hang around, all right?
Cheers, mate.
Have a nice evening, Ben.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.